Now, what do you think is like the biggest injury that you deal with when you have clients or people that you're working out with? What's the most common? Is it shoulders?
Shoulder and knee. And
shoulders
more common those days, especially because we all grew up, in an era that we all want to, pack and shoulder and press.
Bench presses. And
I believe our shoulder is a complex joint, but it's not strong at all. Because we are vertical animal. We are not like chimpanzees. It's loading, and if you see the structure, it's holding back. The horse can hold a lot of power on the shoulder. The human being shoulder is just dropping on the rib cage. It's so weak. And then the simple question is, how many of us can even stand on the wall with the feet on the wall? Some people that cannot even hold their weight.
You're saying to do a handstand with your feet on the wall?
Yeah, even simple like that. And how many people even with the feet on the wall can do a handstand press?
Yeah, not that many.
Not that many. And if you ask how many of you, 10 out of 10, got shoulder injury, probably 9 they say, yeah, I got an issue if I've been involved in this sport. So it's so weak. It's very complex. A lot of tendon, ligaments, multiple joints.
Do you incorporate a lot of hanging? I think hanging is something that people have been really concentrating on over the last few years for shoulder mobility and alleviating impingements.
Absolutely.
And people are listening to this, if you have anything going on with your shoulders, I'm telling you, grab a chin-up bar and hang from that thing. And just let your shoulder, it relaxes your shoulder, it stretches out your joints. And there's several doctors that stopped doing shoulder surgeries. And to alleviate pain, they've started doing hanging exercises and prescribing hanging exercises. It's amazing. Just grab a chin-up bar, start hanging from that sucker.
And it's true.
He has the class starts at 12, but I go at 11. It's not like a formulated class. I go back to the jump rope, and just to get oxygen power so I don't pass out. But Alberto will come back there at like 11:15 and give me homework assignments, and they're always different, Joe. Like some days it's steel club, some days I just work on my hands and knees. And we incorporate our hips. But some days he puts me on rings. The other day he goes, "You got rings at your house?"
Rings?
I go,
like gymnastics rings?
Yeah. I go, what wall is going to hold me? I mean, he's got the whole thing. And he just taught me one thing, because my biggest weakness is my breathing. From the sleep apnea, like I even got hypnotized. I mean, I got to go tomorrow again.
You got hypnotized?
I've been going to get hypnotized.
What's going on? What are they doing?
From the sleep apnea.
You ever wake up with your pants down?
No. It got so severe. Mine was such a bad case. When my machine broke a couple of weeks ago, my wife had to go pick up the machine for me up in Canoga, and the guy was saying, "How's Joey doing?" And he goes, that till this day, Joey came in here as one of the worst cases ever. Like, Joey was in bad shape. You remember what I was going through?
Yeah.
Falling asleep on your steering wheel. And that sleep apnea, like whenever my heart gets going in jiu-jitsu, like no other place does my heart get going like that when I'm on the bottom. And at first when I joined jiu-jitsu, I overcame the panic attacks. So I had to just go, stand on the bottom. Like I'd force myself to get on the bottom. I'd get like a, whatever you call it, a bridge or whatever they call it, a frame. And I'd breathe, and I overcame my fear. But the other fear I had was when I get too wound up, I can't control my breathing. It's when I would get up from the sleep apnea. So I kept thinking about something you said about on a couple of podcasts ago about a sports psychiatry or something.
Sports psychologist?
Some people have it.
Yeah.
And I did some reading, and I said, let me just go alleviate this last fear. I mean, how many fear? I got the needle fear, but last week I got, I still get that thing in my ear. She stuck a needle in my ear, the acupuncture, to take the fluid out, because my ear is not letting my left ear, the fluid out. So either they got to put a little thing there.
What kind of fluids in there?
Just from taking showers. You know me, I'm obsessed with showers, and I got to put earplugs in my ears when I go in the shower, and I go in there for an hour. When California had the drought, I go to Vegas, I get one of those king-size pin showers. I smoke a joint going there for an hour and a half. I write jokes. Oh, yeah, I love taking long showers.
In the shower, an hour
best
and a
material.
Half? Really?
Yeah, best material ever. You can even practice it in there.
That's hilarious.
No, but I get fluid stuck in my ear, and last week I went to acupuncture, and she stuck a needle in there, and when she took it out, it relieved the pressure. Joe, I could feel the blood dripping down my face, and I could hear it hitting the pillow, and I didn't pass out.
Oh.
Okay.
So because I want to get these fears out of the way. Back to tactical fitness, the rings. He has rings, and Alberto taught me a motion that it's all about my breathing.
Right.
I don't leave my ass on the floor, so I basically pick up my hips as a hip escape, and then I hold that breath, but I pull myself up, I stay there, and then as I alleviate my hips back is when I exhale.
Right.
And then my arms go down on that one, so it's a 2-point breathing thing. Dog, I do 3 sets of 10 of those, I'm on fire after that.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that.
Fire.
Breathing.
Breathing is gigantic.
Fire.
It's another thing that seems so simple.
Right.
It's another thing. You tell people, oh, you got to do some breathing exercises. People go, I'm not doing that shit. I'm doing benching, bro. You're gonna build up my pecs, bro. Right? That's what people do. They don't think that breathing is difficult, but breathing exercises. This is what I tell people: breathe in for 1 minute and breathe out for 1 minute. Tell me that's not hard. Just take a 1 minute breath in, look at a clock, and say, "Ready, go," and then breathe in for 1 solid minute, nice and slow, and then breathe out for 1 minute, nice and slow. You'll be fucking dead. You're not going to be able to do it.
Sure.
Most people can hold their breath for a minute, but if you tell them to breathe in for 1 solid minute, it's really hard to do. And then you go to like a yoga class and you take, yoga deep breathing, like pranayama exercises. Right. They're very difficult. And one of the things that when I first started doing yoga, like about 2 years ago, I really started getting into it again. The breathing exercises after class, when you're doing those breathing exercises, it was like my stomach felt soft. It felt like it was kind of weak. Like it would get tired doing those. I'm like, why is my stomach? I was like, I'm just tired from yoga. Like, why is my stomach getting tired from breathing out, like pushing air out? It's so simple. Like I do, sit-ups and leg lifts and all this different stuff. Like, why is that difficult? Because it's a different kind of thing. And you're breathing, you're pushing air out with your diaphragm and your abdominal muscles. But now I can do it pretty good. But you get to like that Hicks and Gracie point. I'm sure you've seen that.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Hickson starts pulling the muscles up in these weird ways and makes them dance.
And it's so connected. Brain is connected to your breathing. The heart rate is connected to your breathing. And people don't understand how it's important, to regain access to a proper breathing. Yeah. Even for people, they also think, okay, breathing for meditation. I'm now into the holistic style. No, breathing is good for everything. It's helping you to visualize what you need to do it, reset your you can switch from your parasympathetic to the sympathetic
what are you saying? The what? Parasympathetic?
Yeah, nervous system, it's like if you breathe correctly, especially under stress, and you need to regain access to your cognitive presence, especially if you need to do something that is more complex. And you think about it. Some people, they're just thinking, okay, under the gas response, when my fight or freeze situation rises, and the situation is on, okay, I probably go to my gross motor skills. Yeah, but some people, like an advanced fighter and an operator, they need to go to access to gross motor skills and fine motor skills. Think about it, I'm going to run across this room, and I need to use my gross motor skill to run faster, but I need to understand where am I going to find cover and maybe shooting back to a target. So now you have fine motor skills on and gross motor skills. I need to be able to get my peripheral view on because I can't stay in my tunnel.
So wait, hold on. Because your English is tripping me up
Sorry,
a little bit. That's okay. So what you're talking about is big motor skills like running and sprinting, and then being able to shoot like a gun.
Absolutely.
And being able to be very precise and very accurate. Which is
understanding, also interpreting what is the people is shooting at me from. So that's a complex, right? That's very complex.
So do you have guys do that? Do you have guys like lift weights and then go, or do like strenuous physical exercises, then go immediately to a range or on a range?
We do that, but also when we start to, what is the importance of learning how to recover fast? To using the breathing, recovery breathing, like the tactical breathing, something like you were talking about. The Navy SEAL, they used to do a lot. 4 minutes, 4 seconds in, holding for 4 seconds, releasing for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds. It's a very basic way to learn how to get back from the high intensity to above your RA max to, let's say, 85%, something that you can bring you back to a cognitive presence so you can make the right decision. That's important.
What you tell people to do, take a 4 second in and 4 second out, so you like slow controlling of the breathing.
That's the beginning of understanding, because when I be going, I need to start going into my nose and maybe taking a pause, go out through my mind, so my heart rate would be
in through the nose, out through the mouth. Yeah, that does seem to somehow or another slow down your heart rate for some reason.
Exactly, and that's when your heart is slow down. It's gonna give you a signal back to your brain. Oh, okay, now we switch. Now everything is under control, so you can make the right decision and you can get back to the the fine motor skills if it's needed.
Right. And that obviously when you're training soldiers, it's got to be one of the most important things to do, to be able to operate under pressure and under like physical pressure.
And make the right choice.
Yes.
Because that's different, you know.
The not panicking thing, right?
The survival response will tell you, do the things that maybe it's more logical to save your life. But sometimes, like I always use this example, we're going to cross the street right now. You're going to cross, you see the car, you're going to freeze, and then you decide jump back or jump forward, whatever is your response to don't get hit by the car.
Right.
But it maybe that take like 12 milliseconds. And if you've been training more to that kind of alarm, you're going to see the car and you want to do, before you jump in and out, you're going to look and see on the other side, because maybe you see the car, you jump back, you didn't see the car coming from the other part, and you got killed for the other car. That take a response of 300 milliseconds. So it's the amygdala will tell you to do whatever is needed to get out from the problem faster. But the long way of your brain response, if you've been training and you're becoming resilient to the kind of alarm and shock situation, you're gonna make the right choice. And for an operator, for a fighter, whatever, it's logical. Think about jiu-jitsu or chess game. Even those guys, they play chess. They're so under stress hour, the brain is cooking, and the guys make a move, and maybe they are not playing, and just, I see the move, I say, I gotta move this way. The other guy is planning, taking more time to plan whatever is going on, because he starts to understand why you did that move. So it's not illogical for me, I should be going that way. And in training, regaining access to your breathing, to your heart rate, to your brain control is fundamental. That's why I believe we need to be careful and understanding fitness is so important. We can do a lot of things. It's not just changing how the way they look. We can help different people in different things. And for some people, it's life-changing.
Yeah, the ability to be calm under pressure is something that very few people have. And they just don't, it's not something that they exercise. They don't get to do it on a regular basis. They don't get severely stressed, so that when they are in a severe stress situation and they have to make a critical decision, or they have to use fine motor skills in a critical situation, most people are just completely incapable of handling that emotional and physiological load. Sure. What is it about? There's something interesting about breathing in through your mouth that creates like a panic feeling, like when guys are tired. What is, I don't understand, like it's a shallow breathing thing that happens. Yeah,
they try to take too much air in, I believe.
That's what it is?
And they brace. The problem,
they brace.
When they
so
brace,
they clamp up.
Yeah, we call it like a forced breathing, and it leads you into the fear reaction. And so for your brain, it's why are you bracing? You're bracing when you don't know something, or you're facing something you're never expecting. So for my brain, my database is been there before. In your life, you'll be freezing for something, and they will bring you back. Okay, this is a fear situation, so your sympathetic system is on, and you start to lose control.
Hit that panic mode.
I think it's so simple. How many times you tight your lace shoes?
Right.
And sometimes when you're under stress, under something, you are a little bit losing control. We fight. We have a discussion, very intense discussion. You can tight your lace, so that's already showing you.
You can't tie your shoelace because you're all out of whack.
Control.
Yeah. Breathing in. One of the things that you really learn that, like during yoga class, in very particularly stressful situations, it's so hard to breathe smooth. It's one of the things that I've learned how to do is to try to concentrate only on my breath, and it actually makes the exercise easier, which doesn't seem to make any sense, because before I'd just be concentrating on the exercise, and what I realized somewhere along the line is my breath is not very smooth, and I'm not doing a good job of controlling myself. So now when I'm in a situation like a really difficult, like standing bow pose or something like that, what I concentrate on more than anything, more even than the posture, is just my breathing. Concentrate on big, slow, deep breaths. And I swear it makes it like 10% easier. Just concentrating on the breathing makes everything easier. And Chrome Gracie said that too when he was in here. We were talking about jiu-jitsu, and he's like, it's breath, man. Breath is everything. And once you can control your breath, once you understand how to control your breath, it makes those positions better, makes jiu-jitsu easier, makes everything better.
Sure.
Your breath, control your breath, Joey.
And you say the right things. You know what? All of us, we know how to brace, how to inhale. We're talking for half an hour. We never stop and do while we're talking.
But we're not under stress.
Right. We don't understand. When people understand, they start to do it. The problem is when people, they don't know how to exhale. If you're taking a man and putting it under the water with the head,
right.
what is the last thing he's going to do before he die? That
Right.
catch the breathing. So the body exactly know when it's time to inhale,
Yes.
but it doesn't know when it's time to exhale.
That's
under fear.
fascinating.
That's we tend to force in the
When we
breathing.
see people hyperventilate, like my 6-year-old gets upset about things. Sometimes she hyperventilates. Like she just can't get it out. Like she's upset. Like someone did this to me. I'm so upset. You know, and you got to go, okay, you got to calm down. I want you to take some big deep breaths. But it's hard to teach a 6-year-old that, you know?
Now, what the fuck do we do on stage for breathing?
Just talk.
I've never,
Never thought about it?
like I started getting anxiety at the store. So now when I walk up to the original room, like on Tuesdays or when I did the will turn, I forced myself to breathe in and out of my nose. But for years,
You get anxiety at the store?
yeah, in the original room,
Why?
since I've been back. I don't know. It all started the night I had to follow Morgan Murphy. And
Why did
I don't know. I went up there and she was on stage and I don't know what it is. I just get anxiety in the original room. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And at the Wilchin Theater, I walked out and I looked that way, and then I looked at the audience and it was like, woo! And I had to breathe a little through my nose. But what do we do on stage? Are we breathing through our nose or are we breathing through our mouths? We fucking talk shit for 45 to an hour. I looked at the special that I shot and I'm like, where am I breathing?
Yeah.
How interesting. That we got to watch that next time.
Yeah,
What
you're
the
not-
fuck are we doing up there?
Yeah. You're not thinking. You're just breathing. Yeah. Well, you just concentrated so much on what you're trying to say that it all just comes natural. Just like right now. Like while I'm talking to you right now, I took a little breath right there, but I wasn't thinking about it. I only need a little bit of air.
Right.
You know?
It's because it's so natural for you.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe take me in a conference the first time, and I'm gonna be shaking and go
Yeah.
run into my word, and then taking a breath. You know?
You see that from people that are giving speeches.
Yeah.
You do see that when if they've not become comfortable with public speaking. Public speaking is one of the most stressful things for some people.
Like number 2 or number 1 in some people's world. Like it's really
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
I had one time a judge asked me. He was about to sentence me, and he goes, "Do you have anything to say to you for yourself?" And I had it written down. I had everything, Joe Rogan. I started squeaking. He's like, "Don't worry about it." Guilty. I
Yeah,
couldn't
you
talk.
panic.
I couldn't talk. I went right into a panic when this little man looked at me.
Well, people get nervous, you know, and when you get nervous, your adrenaline kicks in, and when your adrenaline kicks in, everything tightens up. You know, it just, you know, and physiological stress, like yoga positions, can kind of mimic that. You know, like when you're in a position, like when you got your hands over your head and you're leaning your whole body to the side, it's very hard to stay smooth with your breathing when you're in those spots. Like that's the number one thing that I concentrate on. Holding my body in that position is not nearly as hard as holding my body and breathing smoothly. Breathing smoothly is the most difficult part of that posture, like a lot of postures.
And as soon as you change your breathing, you start to change inside and you change it outside.
Yeah.
Yes, I see this happening a lot. You know, a lot. What is the first reaction when you're under stress? You know,
Tension.
But for if you look back what happened when you were in the I just say prehistory.
Prehistory?
Think about it. You are a prey. What you doing? You are like any animal, like a cat in the road. They start to pump his hair up so to become bigger, right?
Right.
So that's what we're doing. We growing our shape. So the predator might look at us like, oh, we're too big. I'm gonna attack a simple predator. We try to, you know, our skin start to twiggling, something like we don't have
Goosebumps?
we don't have hair, but we try to do the same, mimic the same.
Is that
things.
what goosebumps are? It's like your hair's puffing up to make you look bigger?
Under fear.
Wow.
Under fear.
That's interesting.
And if I look in, you know,
Well, how come it's like that when you hear a good song?
that's a
What's
different
that all
feeling.
about? You get a
That's
goosebump?
feeling.
you
It's
know?
like a lot of people, they misinterpret, or they all thinking, okay, we go tactical training, we do this, and we can control fear reaction. No, that's two different things. You can control when you are really under stress for that kind of situation. So our rate, fear is another things. Matter of fact, under high intensity workout, you become red. Under fear, you become poor. So it's different physiological things going into your body. So the only things that people do not is misunderstanding that doing some kind of high intensity workout, we can control also the fear, real fear, because real fear is another thing. You know,